up, everyone? It's Shaletta. I'm here getting a phone for one of my newly minted teenagers with Xfinity Mobile. They've got great options, affordable plans, and solid coverage that works for our whole family. With Xfinity Mobile, my daughter can stay connected with me wherever she goes. And did you know when you sign up, you can get an extra phone line free for a full year? Switch to Xfinity Mobile today for more savings, more smiles, and more ways to stay connected.
It's Not Your Fault is a podcast for parents, caregivers, and young people navigating the world and its challenges. Here's your host, Brandon Jones.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another installment of It Is Not Your Fault, a teen mental health podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Jones, and on today's episode, we are talking about managing family stress during the holidays. Believe it or not, the holiday season is already here, and with the holidays comes a lot of joy, a lot of fun, a lot of laughter, and unfortunately for many families, a lot of stress. So we're going to talk about how do we help navigate that for young people? How do we help navigate that as a parent and caregiver as well, as we embark during this holiday season? It's unfortunate that many families do have traumatic experiences during the holidays. I know myself, growing up in a household that I grew up in, there was some stressful times. There were some things that took place. There were some good times as well. It wasn't always bad, but there was a mix. And I knew that as a young person, especially as an adolescent, I didn't always have the tools to deal with some of the struggle that took place during the holiday season. So want to give some tips and tools on how to navigate that as I reflect back about my own childhood, as I look at my children and their childhood here and how they deal with holidays and the different dynamics that take place from year to year. It's important that we're paying attention to the young people in our lives and how they're addressing their stressors, and then also how we're addressing ours. So how do we manage holiday stress? Our family stress during the holidays. I shouldn't call it holiday stress, because holiday stress sounds like Black Friday shopping, buying gifts, making sure you get your, father or mother-in-law the thing that they want and your kids are happy. That's holiday stress. Family stress is when the drama's taking place. There's some issues going on. So and so doesn't like this person because of something that happened in 2007, and grandpa's angry about this, and this person had an unplanned this and an unplanned that, and it's disgracing the family. Like all these dynamics that take place, or somebody did bad and they said something on social media that you didn't like, and now we have a bubbling issue that is popping up. Also, we're coming off the tail end of an election that has a lot of people responding in various different emotional ways. So I expect, like many people are expecting, that there's going to be some trauma, some drama during the holiday season. So the holidays can be a time of joy and togetherness, but for so many families, they also bring a unique set of stressors, from the financial pressures to the heightened emotions. It's easy for tensity to build up, right? We have this tension that can build. Now, how can we manage this during the holiday season? How can we manage that family stress? We're going to give about 6 to 7 solutions on how we can do that. The first one is set realistic expectation. Acknowledge your limitations as a young person. If you're listening, acknowledge your limitations as a parent or caregiver. That sometimes during the holiday, things are not going to be picture perfect. You're not going to impress everyone. Sometimes people may not even show up. You may say, oh, we're all meeting at this place, or we're all meeting at this person's house, and you may not want to go. The other person might not want to come, and it may end up being something where the engagement isn't necessarily the way that it should be. So understanding what's feasible, how much time and energy you want to exert and spend in these areas is very important. One thing that helps with this is communicating plans pretty clearly, letting people know what you will, what you won't do, letting people know where you will be at, where you won't be at. I think is a good way of dealing with some of the limitations that can show up during the holiday season amongst families. So being able to acknowledge your limitations, being able to communicate and plan clearly, your plans clearly, is a very important way of going about dealing with some of the unrealistic expectations during the holiday season. The next thing, number 2, prioritize self-care. You need to maintain a level of sustainable wellness, which means you need to take the best care of yourselves. And during the holiday season, there's a lot of opportunity for us to get around people that we care about, people that love us, and sometimes cause a little pain in our lives. And you're responding. It's a reactionary situation. So in this time of response, one of the best things you do around your self-care is maintain routines. It's very easy to start slacking off because a lot of people don't have to work during the holidays. People are out of school. There's a lot of lax time. But if you can maintain some habits and some routine during that time, making sure you stick to your regular sleep schedule, making sure you eat, making sure that you exercise if that's something that's built into your schedule, you get some body movement, you take a walk. All these things are good for you to do during the holiday season. Don't just completely shut everything down. Stick to your routines and keep your body engaged as you do on a normally day-to-day basis. And then it is important to take breaks. So I don't want to seem like I'm not saying take a break. If you're somebody who exerts a lot of energy on a day to day, you do a lot of things, taking that time to rest is important. I still think keeping a routine is good, but if you modify it for a little rest here, a little rest there, definitely would encourage that. So step away from the tenseness and the tension that is rising, even for short walks, quiet moments to yourself. Put on a pair of headphones, listen to a podcast, put on a pair of headphones, listen to some of your favorite music, whatever the case may be, to just zone out and get a little bit of that battery recharge. But don't do it to a point where your battery is recharged and you're just sitting there. Stay engaged in some routine as best as possible. Number three, create a budget and stick to it. If you are somebody who's spending on friends, family member, children, whatever it may be, set a budget, create a budget and stick to it as best as possible. Plan that spending. If you're planning on not paying for anything, you're not buying anyone anything, that's okay. But communicate it, let it be known, and stick to your guns as much as possible. Stick to it, right? But if you are somebody who's spending some dough and you're buying gifts and traveling and paying for meals and things, make sure you're budgeting appropriately. And one of the big issues around the holiday season for a lot of people is their spending. So a lot of people overspend. They max out that credit card or two. They purchase things that they normally wouldn't purchase because it was on sale. A lot of different things end up happening, but try to stick to the budget that makes the most sense to you if you are someone who's spending the dough during the holiday season. And then another way to save some dough, but also still be a giver and give things, is by using some creativity, piecing together things, bargain shopping, you know, pulling together materials and creating things for people. Sometimes those gifts mean much, much more than something that you purchase for individuals because it takes a lot of time and energy and thought that's put into some of those gifts that you can kind of create and craft with your hands or with the help of another person or whatever the case may be. So it's very important that you do use some creativity during this time, and that'll help you save some dough as much as possible. Number four, and this is going to be one that we hear a lot here on the podcast. I bring this up pretty often, is delegate task. It's okay to find other people to do things, especially if you just are not in a space or position to do it. You don't have the energy. It's okay to pass it on to someone else. Share responsibility when you can. I just recommend that you don't share all your responsibility, but if there's someone who can assist you, or even if someone offers help, take it. Take it. I know that it hits your pride. I know that it hits a piece of your soul and who you are, and you don't want any handouts from people. It's okay to accept help when people are offering you help. So don't be afraid to take it. Involve children. If you're a parent or caregiver, it's okay to involve those younger members in your family to assist, to help. Foster a sense of teamwork with these young people. Put them to work. It's okay. A lot of young people expect things during this holiday season. Money, gifts, treats, all those good things. It's okay for them to put in some work as well. So don't be afraid to lean on those little ones to help you out. And if you are a young person, you have siblings, and you're listening to this podcast, it's okay for you to engage with them too. Sometimes siblings get pushed to the side so you can engage with your friends on your phone and tablets and go hang out and things. But don't be afraid to engage your younger siblings and have them assist with some things as well. Find some collective activities. All right, a couple more, and then we'll wrap up today's podcast. Number 5, anticipate emotional triggers, or activators is another word for people who don't feel comfortable using the term trigger. So what does that mean? Acknowledge past tensions. right? So appreciate emotional triggers, right? So in certain topics and dynamics have caused conflict in the past. Sometimes there's been strategy on these particular conflicts and how to navigate and avoid them. So it's okay to acknowledge the past tension, the past things that have happened, the adversity. It's okay, but don't get stuck just analyzing and reviewing those things. Make sure that you're putting together some practices of patience, right? You're putting together some practices that help you around your resiliency and your well-being. You're moving forward to the best of your ability. So remind yourself that everyone is likely to manage their own holiday stress, and it's about you being patient with yourself and implementing practices that help you become well and help you move forward. All right, that's number 5. Number 6 is set boundaries. So limit time with your toxic family members. Just call them out. You know who they are. You know who they are. You know who those toxic people are in your family. And just reduce your time. It's okay to maintain a boundary where you don't want to be around someone. And that's a very hard thing for many people, especially in my community, to do. Sometimes that toxic person has a lot of authority and respect in the family dynamic, but you understand that they're not the best person for you. And you just stay there because you don't want to upset the entire family, and you just take whatever this person is given. And I'm encouraging you that it's okay to limit your time around that person. People should understand if they don't. And if they don't understand, at least you're not carrying on that stress in that moment. And then respect your limits. Respect your limits that you do set. It's okay to say no to doing things that may have to deal with events or family traditions or things of that nature. If you feel overwhelmed, you're overwhelmed. Don't force yourself to do something because you might end up, overexerting yourself and crashing out. We don't want any more crash outs. All right, 2 more things, and then we're going to wrap up today's podcast. Number 7, focus on connection. Create new traditions if you can. If things don't feel like they're going the way that they should be going, you want to curb some of the holiday stress, try something new. There's a lot of new games and trends and all types of things out there. Don't be afraid to explore and try something new with your family. It may be fun and it may be engaging and it may keep you less stressed and have more joy. And practice positive gratitude. Always be thankful for the time you get, every breath that you can take, and every engagement and laughter that you can share. So embrace the gratitude of being able to see another holiday and engage with the folks around you. And then, of course, you have to throw in number 8, the big bonus of seek professional help. If this holiday season is getting overwhelming for you and you don't know what to do, there's a couple of things that I would suggest. First, if you're at a crisis level and you're just can't at your wits end, go ahead and text 988 or call 988. It's a great resource. They'll definitely assist you in whatever help that you need, especially if you're feeling really, really down and you need someone to speak with. 988 is your go-to. Feel free to text or call that number. The next thing is start to look for local mental health professionals in your area. All it takes is a smooth Google search, and you can probably find somebody that's pretty much within a mile or so of yourself. We're fortunate enough that we don't have enough therapists in this world because there's a lot of people who need help. But the folks that are out there, they are accessible. So don't be afraid to use Google to find these individuals. And then the last thing that I would say about professional help is it doesn't have to be forever or long term. It can be a couple of sessions. It can be something that can be done virtually. So just attempt it. Attempt it if you haven't attempted it already. And if you're currently in therapy, utilize that resource. Utilize the resource you have in that person to help you navigate your family stress during the holidays. Okay, we're hitting our max on the podcast today. In short, the holidays do not have to be perfect to be meaningful. By focusing on communication, setting boundaries, and prioritizing well-being, your family can enjoy a season filled with connection and peace. Take steps to manage your stress now. Don't wait for, whatever holiday you're celebrating to show up. Do what you need to do today so that you can truly savor the moment that matters most, which is spending time with your family and enjoying this time that we have with each other. All right, folks, that is today's podcast. I am Brandon Jones. This is It Is Not Your Fault, a teen mental health podcast. There's 3 ways you can get in contact with us. The first way is on our Facebook group. All you have to do is go to your Facebook, put in a search bar, It's Not Your Fault podcast, and you can find tips like the ones that I'm sharing today, old podcasts, and great resources right there on Facebook. The second way to get in contact, and this is directly to me, is going to my website, www.jegna.org. That is jegna.org, where you can reach out to me, ask questions, or find out some of the other work that I do in coaching and in consulting right there at jegna.org. And then if you rock with this podcast, you probably will rock with the other ones as well on the network. What is that network? The network is ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. Again, ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com, where you can find myself and a whole host of amazing podcasters giving out amazing information. So with that, folks, we're going to wrap up today's podcast. I want you to be safe, be constructive, and be well, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care and happy holidays.
To check out previous episodes of It's Not Your Fault, or to learn more about Brandon Jones, log on to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast-quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.